Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Ajaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Ajaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Ajaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Yantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki Go Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, The Lord in the Heart, Text 33. Nahi yato nyaya shiva panta Vishata samsrita viha Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Yato Bhavet Nahi yato anya shiva panta Vishata samsrita viha Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti yoga yata bhavet nahi yato nya siva panta sata samsrita viha Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Yato Bhavet. Please chant. Na, never. He, certainly. Ataha, beyond this. Anyaha, any other. Shivaha, auspicious. Antaha, means. Visataha, wandering. Samsrito, in the material world. Iha, in this life. Vasudeva, unto Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. Bhagavati, the personality of Godhead. Bhakti Yogaha, direct devotional service. Yataha, wherein. Bhavet, may result in. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. For those who are wandering in the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at in the direct devotional service of Lord Krishna. Purport. As will be clarified in the next verse, devotional service or direct bhakti yoga is the only absolute and auspicious means of deliverance from the grip of material existence. There are many indirect methods of deliverance from the clutches of material existence, but none of them is as easy and auspicious as bhakti yoga. The means of jnana and yoga and other allied disciplines are not independent in delivering a performer. Such activities help one to reach the stage of bhakti yoga after many, many years. In the Bhagavad Gita 12.5, it is said that those who are attached to the impersonal feature of the Absolute are liable to many troubles in the pursuit of their desired goal. And imperious philosophers searching after the Absolute Truth realize the importance of Vasudeva realization as the all in all after many, many births. Bhagavad Gita 7.19. As far as yoga systems are concerned, it is also said in the Bhagavad Gita 6.47 that amongst the mystics who pursue the Absolute Truth, the one who is always engaged in the service of the Lord is the greatest of all. And the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita 1866 advises fully surrendering unto the Lord, leaving aside all other engagements or different processes for self-realization and liberation from material bondage. The purport of all Vedic literatures is to induce one to accept the transcendental loving service of the Lord by all means. As already explained in the text of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, either direct bhakti yoga or the means which ultimately culminate in bhakti yoga, without any tinge of fruity activity, constitutes the highest form of religion. Everything else is simply a waste of time for that performer. Srila Sridhar Swami and all other acharyas like Jiva Goswami agree that bhakti yoga is not only easy, simple, natural, and free from trouble, but is the only source of happiness for the human being. Om Gyan Tivinandasya Gyanana Sadakya Chakshumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakapa Turubhishcha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Katachata Jita Yasmin Duskaram Sukaram Bhavet Visvite Vipriyatim Sat Shri Chaitanya Namnanamitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gauda Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Raja Vidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Padakshivagamam Dhamyam Shushukam Kata Aviyam. In the Bhagavad Gita it said that this is the king of all knowledge, the secret of most all secrets. It is the purest and the perfection of religion because it gives direct perception of the real self, the spirit soul. It is joyfully performed and is everlasting. This is Bhakti Yoga, what we're practicing here today and every day, hopefully. It's actually, knowledge comes on its own by practicing Bhakti Yoga. One man approached Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's guru. And he says, Srila Prabhupada, I would like to ask you some very important questions. I want to see you. And he was very sorry, I have some things to do. You do some service with my brahmacharis, maybe clean some paraphernalia, and then I can answer your questions. So then he is helping out, doing some menial service. And then after doing the service, then now Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was ready to answer his questions. So I'm ready to answer your questions. The man said, my question's already answered. And we all feel that when we do devotional service directly, that some realization comes up very quickly. When we do chanting, when we do some sweeping, some cleaning, even just taking darshan of the beautiful lordships, then some realization comes from within the heart, automatically. So quickly, compared to any other process we've practiced before. Tesham satata yuktanam, bhajatam pritipuvakam, dadami buddha yogatam yenamamopi yantate. One is always engaged in loving devotion with priti, with some affection. Dadami buddha yogatam. Krishna from within the heart gives the buddhi, the intelligence, of which to come close to him. And that is the goal of the Mahatma, the great souls. Mahamas tumam prata, devim prakriti ashrita, vijantayana manaso, ganta bhuta demaviyam. Those great souls who have taken shelter under the spiritual energy, Devi Prakriti. Rupa Goswami says that Devi Prakriti is Srimati Radharani. She's the embodiment, the personification of pure love of Krishna, of devotional service. Knowing that the Supreme Lord is inexhaustible and everlasting. That those great souls always want the association of Krishna. That's our goal. Somehow get the association of Krishna. Here in the purport, it's rejecting the other process of jnana and yoga. Jnana yoga is considered knowledge, getting knowledge. But by getting knowledge, they try and detach matter from spirit. The process is usually neti. Just try and not this, not this, not this. It's just a process of denial. They just deny this, no, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Well, what do you accept? You have to end up denying denial eventually. But Bhakti Yoga is so much easier. We don't deny anything. We are driving dirt bikes. I saw, like seeing the temple president and even seeing Ramai Swami, all respect to you, seeing on the dirt bike yesterday. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Seeing a sannyasi on the dirt bike. I was like, yeah, this is Bhakti Yoga. We connect everything in the service of Krishna. Dirt bikes, trucks, cars, vans, money, which all seem material. But they all come from the original source, the very aham sarvasya prabhu mata sarvam pravatate. Iti mate vajantamam buddha bhavan samamrita. Krishna says, I'm the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise soul who understands is worship me with all their hearts. Buddha, they're very smart. Bhavata, with bhav. That bhav. Because they can see the connection with Krishna and everything. And that's what it means to have love. Love means is that you're crazy about someone. And that you see them everywhere. Just like parents that have so much love for the child. You know, they always think about the child, what it's doing. They just see, Prabhupada gives the example, they just see the child's shoes. And then they remember the child is playing, he's laughing, he's walking, he's falling over, he's crying. You know, many parents have that deep affection just by seeing shoes. You didn't even see the child. But so much comes in. So the devotee is always having this personal connection with Krishna just by seeing his energy. Sri Ram Swami in his japa book called Chant, he says that this material is actually an impetus to remember the Lord. So everywhere we see green, especially here, you see green, not in the city, but you see lots of green. So what colors make green? Blue, yellow. What color is Krishna? Oh, bluish black, but it's blue. What color is Radharani? Goldish and golden complexion. You bring them together, it's green. You can remember Krishna, like Hare Krishna. You start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Chetadapana Marjanam, it's cleansing the consciousness of all misconceptions, of the illusion thinking that there's nothing connected to Krishna. We think, okay, I have my spiritual life where I connect everything to Krishna, and then there's my material life, but there's nothing connected to Krishna. No, that's Maya. Everything is connected to Krishna. Our work, our job, our money, our relationships, everything belongs to Him. That's how you become peaceful. Once you think it's yours, then watch the suffering come. The threefold miseries, adibodhikam, adidevikam, adiatmikam. Miseries from the body, the mind, natural disturbances, and other people. That's the main one, I think. And of course, birth, death, old age, and disease. Bhakti Yagya Tapasam Savaloka Maheshwara. He is the proprietor of everything. He's the enjoyer of everything. Suridam Savadeyinam Bhutanam. He is the best friend of all living beings. We think we are the maintainer, maybe of our families, the best friend of some friends. We're like, yes, I'm the best friend. No, Krishna is the maintainer. Krishna is the best friend. I had this example. It's very nice. Just imagine you're being sentenced to jail, life, for some crime you've done. And your friend is next to you. He didn't do anything. He says, I'll come with you. So Krishna comes as well as a super soul. Not in just this body. So many millions of lifetimes He's been there with us. Even in a worm and stool, He is there as a super soul, waiting. When will this rascal turn to me? That's how nice a person he is. That's why the impersonals find it so hard, the Jnana Yogis find it so hard to be liberated from this material world, because it's all on their back. It's all by their endeavor. The example is just like the baby monkey and the baby cat. So the baby monkey has to hold on to its mother when it's like jumping from tree to tree like this. Has to hold on, use its own strength. But the kitten doesn't have to do anything, it just has to be submissive to mom, just let itself be put up and go wherever and have full security. So this is what the devotee does. He realizes how amazing and how merciful and how protective Krishna is, and just takes shelter. This is my best friend. No one else is my best friend. He is the controller and owner of everything, but He has my back. Usually you know someone is very powerful, strong, beautiful, famous, and then, they're really puffed up. They kind of push you away a lot. But Krishna, He has it fully unlimited, and He wants to be your best friend. This is Krishna. So by hearing about the personality, the qualities of Krishna, by that simple, automatically the heart becomes attracted. And when it becomes easier to chant, the chanting is like a fire, and the hearing about Krishna's qualities is like the oil, and it gives more fire to our chanting. Because when we first chant, it's just like a sound. Some meditative mantra, Hare Krishna, oh, nice sound. But as we go on and advance in Krishna consciousness and hear the philosophy behind the holy name, Namachintamini Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Punasado Nijo Mukto, Binatam Nami Namino. That holy name is like Chintamini. You touch it and your desires are fulfilled. Like anything. I remember when I was 10 years old, I saw these, you watch these like holiday shows, like Getaway or whatever, and they were advertising Mauritius, how beautiful the beaches are, and you can get a chalet on the beach and coconuts and everything. And I remember, yes, I must go there. I remember I was 10 years old. But then I just gave up. As time went on, I got older, and I just gave up this whole idea. I don't want to go to Mauritius. So who cares about traveling if I can't help anyone? I had this whole philosophy made up. What's the point of traveling if I can't help anyone? But then the last 8 years before this COVID hit, I was been traveling around the world every year, and I'd go to Mauritius every year. Just like that, I've been sent there every year, going to every beach and seaside. But the thing is, I didn't care anymore. I gave up that desire, and that's the most amazing thing about Bhakti Yoga. You don't have to psychoanalysis yourself of all these anarthas and, I have jealousy, I have greed, I have lust, I have illusion, I have madness. You don't have to root it out yourself. Krishna himself is in the heart. He sees you very eager to hear about his glories, and then he removes it on its own. Shrimpata swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hiyananta stoi vajrani vadunoti sahisatam. That just the super soul sitting in the heart sees the eager, honest devotee to hear his messages, then he removes almost all material desires. That's the power of hearing Bhagavatam. I forgot the third line in this verse. Shrimpata shariya nityam nigante nila chetasam. Bhagavan Visadehirdi. One who regularly hears the Srimad Bhagavatam takes its matters very seriously. Sri Krishna, the person that God manifested in the heart within a short time. Not a long time, short time. And that's what the yogi is looking for. The yogi is trying to realize Paramatma within the heart by mechanically drilling the air and as we previous verses, putting the foot up the rectum and pushing the life air to different parts of the body, and then trying to aim towards the higher planets. And then through the higher planet, maybe he may make it to Brahmaloka, and then from Brahmaloka he stays there until the end of Brahma's life. Then he may make it back to Godhead. Such a long process. But just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, even if one just gets such attachment, that taste for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one conquers the unconquerable. Ajita. He conquers the Supreme Person, who's unconquerable. Such an amazing process of Bhakti Yoga, just by hearing, let alone chanting. Se pancha tattvavi lipitaviya siya puva prema bandhadina mudra gadiya panchamena lutta prema karashvada yata yata priya krishna vana anikshan puna puna payahaya mahama mata yasakaya nachagaya mahamada mata. That the qualities, the storehouse love of God is described as the qualities of Krishna. And when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, that storehouse was locked up. But the Panchatattva broke the seal of that lock and then plundered its contents. And the more they took of that love of God, that prema, then the thirst for a guru. Just like madmen, they drank, the more they sang and danced. The more they danced, it made it easier to drink that nectarian love of Godhead. In this way, they laughed, they cried, they sang and danced. Just like madmen, this is how they distribute the love of God. This is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. It's coming up. Rupanim ki jai. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva, they've made it so easy for the most fallen in Kali Yuga. It's never been so easy by this dancing and chanting. What we just did before with Garuda leading the ecstatic kirtan, just dancing and chanting. So much is giving out. It's the life of all transcendent knowledge. Vijuvada Jivanam. It is Ananda Buddhi Vadanam. It's an ever-increasing ocean of bliss where Anandamaya Vyasat, the living entity, is always searching for pleasure. So you might as well dive into the ever-increasing ocean of bliss of Bhakti Yoga. And in this way, we achieve Prema Pumata Mahan, that the necessity of the living entity, of the jiva, is love of Godhead, love for Krishna. Because the other process of jnana, impersonal realization, you get relief. You realize the sat factor, the eternality factor of the self. But that's not satisfying. By realizing Paramatma, you get the sat and the chit factor. But by realizing Bhagavan, and especially Shyama Sundar as the son of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan, you fulfill one's sat, chit and ananda factor. And what is ananda? What is real bliss come from? Relationships. It's not from money, it's not from prestige, it's not from wealth, it's not from sex, sense gratification. These all lead to suffering. Yei sansparshicha boga dukkiyoniya evite ariyanta vanta kunteya nateshana mata buddha. Krishna has given us straightforward that by contact with the material senses are the sources of misery. Dukkha yoniya evite. Dukkha means distress. Yona means the source. Evite. Certainly, indeed. It's like 3-4 times in the one line. He's saying, don't do it. Sense gratification. Don't go for it. When I, enjoy my senses. Like we go to Byron Bay for Harinam. Everyone's having a drink. Everyone's eating some meat. Everyone's checking out each other out, But the reason why is because Ariyantavanta. It has a beginning and an end. Real happiness, Ramanujacharya says that eternality means that which has no beginning, no end. The happiness we get from Bhakti Yoga is eternal. There's no beginning and end. It's only increasing more and more. There's no come down. There's no bad trip. It just gets better and better and better and better and more sweeter and more sweeter and more sweeter the more we do it. But we may think, hey, I'm chanting chapa, I'm feeling, oof, this is tough. What's going on here? Oh, this Bhagavatam. When is this guy gonna be quiet? When are we gonna have prasadam? I fall asleep a bit. Oof, There's no taste. Why is that? Because avidya, ignorance. The jaundice-like ignorance. We are covered by this ignorance of Krishna. We are ignoring Krishna. We don't see Krishna yet. But what is the cure for jaundice? Sugar candy. By taking sugar candy, it tastes bitter. When you have jaundice and you taste it, it tastes very bitter. But if you take more and more, the sweetness comes up. So we're in a sick condition, a condition. That it's not our natural position to be asat, temporary, losing everything at death. That doesn't make any sense for us. Why do we have to go through death? To be archid, full of ignorance. So many things do we forget. It's so annoying. Our hard drives are getting bigger and bigger because we can't remember anything. I remember when I was young, you can remember all your friends' phone numbers just off by heart. But now it's like, forget it. I have to put in the phone. You break your phone, you lose your phone, your whole brain's gone. That's what we are. We're so ignorant, so lack of knowledge. And Nirananda, full of misery. This body is completely full of misery. Yadananda's been doing some massage, and all I feel is pain. This body is only giving pain again and again. But the soul and Bhakti Yoga is eternal, full of knowledge. Sometimes we do the schoolies and they go, what do you believe in? This is so cool, but what do you believe in? So we believe in living forever, knowing everything. If you know Krishna, you know everything. The purpose of the Vedas is to know Him, Krishna. And to be full of bliss, ever-increasing bliss. And how do you do that? By connecting to the source of all pleasure. Akila Rasamrita Muti. Krishna is the complete form of nectarian rasa. That's Krishna. And how do we do that? By this Bhakti Yoga, this simple, easy, natural, free from trouble, and the only source of happiness for the human being. And the easiest sublime way that's given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is by Harinam Sankirtan. Everything is there in the dancing and chanting. If you're wondering what I should do, what the Bhagavatam is revealing to us, again, Vyakta Kari Bhagavate Kara Bharabhara Kali Yuga Dhamma Nama Sankirtanata. So, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita says that the Bhagavatam is revealing again and again that the essence of Dharma in Kali Yuga, the Savai Pumso Paro Dhamma, is Nam Sankirtan, dancing, chanting. Kantarashmo Bhagavatam ki? Some comments or questions? Yes, Guru.
A question about other religious paths, as you mentioned, but in particular, Bhakti Yoga. Say if I go to a Christian church and I hear them singing a rock and I think they're singing to God, would that also be considered Bhakti Yoga, just then?
Yes.
In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is also famously putting bhakti, separating it from jnana and yoga. So does this mean that where does jnana fit in within bhakti? Do we stop trying to understand, or is it within bhakti? How does that happen? You mentioned it a little bit.
Yes, unfortunately I haven't memorized the verse from the second chapter of first canto, but from bhakti, automatically jnana and vairagya is revealed, knowledge and renunciation. So jnana is definitely about renunciation, detachment from material. But by getting the higher taste, visya vinivitante nirhasidena rasarajam piyasya padam disva nivatate. But even though we have this taste to enjoy the sense objects, and the yogi is trying to restrict, no, I don't want to do this anymore. By experiencing a higher taste in bhakti yoga, in Krishna consciousness, automatically gives up the lower taste. And then the knowledge comes in due to Chaita Dharpana Marjanam and the Lord revealing things to us. And obviously the process given by Krishna is Tavvidi Pranapatena Pranapasena Sevya Upadikshanti Te Jnanam Jnana Statvidashana. Just try and approach a spiritual master and quiet submissively. Render service unto him. These great souls can impart knowledge unto you because they've seen the truth, they've seen Krishna. And they see you as a spirit soul, and they know how you can give Krishna the most pleasure as his servant. So that knowledge comes in automatically. Yasya deve para bhakti yata deve tata guru. One who has implicit faith in the Guru and in the Vedas and the Supreme Lord, automatically everything is revealed. So it's by revelation that one gets experience and gets revelation that I don't need anything in this material world anymore. I'm a spirit soul and part and parcel of Krishna, and my role is to serve him, and that's what comes from bhakti. Automatically the jnana is achieved, the yoga is achieved, everything from karma is achieved, and very quickly. Yes, Guru. Yes.
Just on the basis of that answer you just gave in the previous question in relation to the Christian rock kirtans and so forth, your simple answer was yes, it's bhakti. But why aren't they not getting these results? Why are they having this rock kirtan and then off to the pub or the McDonald's and so on? So there doesn't seem to be much realization or much effect in that type of bhakti. Why is that?
Well, yes, it's dependent on the performer of how receptive they are to the mercy of bhakti. So if they're doing it for material gain, then or they're not trying to please the Lord, then they get less effect. They get some benefit, but very small. And obviously, Srila Prabhupada is giving such an amazing sort of acceleration process back to Godhead with the initiation to 16 rounds and following the 4 regular principles. So that following the 4 regular principles, everyone is entrapped in this. Kali Yuga has got everyone entrapped by these 4 vices of meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. But on a lecture on this very verse 259 on the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada shows the positive side of these 4 regular principles. So for no meat eating, he says that people who eat meat are addicted to blood and flesh. So he says take milk products, because the milk of the cow, the blood of the cow is transformed into milk. You don't kill anyone, and from milk you can make so many foodstuffs, hundreds of different sandesh, rasgulla, burfi, sweet ras, panya. You know, every time there's something milk product there, we're there. You know, 100% creams, different creams, and Krishna loves it. And then he puts that back into the offering. So just take milk products. And then for intoxication, Prabhupada said, take prasadam and be intoxicated. That's the best one. So many times you see that you have a feast and everyone's yelling like a drunkard. And then for illicit sex, we don't say no sex, we say get married and have children. To raise them in God consciousness to benefit society. And for gambling, this is the coolest one, is that Krishna consciousness is a gamble. Because you're going against the grain of society. Everyone is following these 4 vices and you're going against the grain. So it's a big gamble. Am I really doing the right thing? You sometimes think, you know. Everyone else is doing something else. There's not many people in the Bhagavatam class. Are we doing the right thing? So it's a gamble. Transcendental gamble. So with these 4 regular principles, you stay clean and pure. Because just like you want to light a fire, you don't throw water in it. So when we do sinful activity and try and chant the glories or do devotional service, that's like putting water on the fire. You know, it's like you're kind of defeating yourself. But by taking it more seriously, then those material desires can go away, that sinful propensity go away, especially by association. When you're around those who do it, then it becomes very, very easy to give up sinful activity and chant more purely and experience God. Is that okay, Prabhu? Elaboration. Yes, Mataji.
There's another point, speaking to Krishna Kirtan, Prabhu's comment. By the way, it was a fantastic class. Thank you very much. Very enthusiastic, enlightening class. I was just going to say that, you know, Prabhupada would often say that, you know, we know where Krishna lives, we know his address, we know what he looks like, we know what he likes to do. Whereas in, you know, some religions, which may be, of course, you know, bona fide religions, that information is lacking.
Yes, that's definitely true. Thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.